Alright, so today I'm going to do a short video on my Halloween Resurrection mask and maybe talk a little bit about the movie. This is a Trick or Treat Studios rehaul done by Creepy Masks. Let's get a close-up of this mask. It's really nicely done. I really love what he did with the hair on this mask. It's got a lot of nice texture. I was very happy when I opened this up. Creepy Masks. If you're in the mask collecting community, you know who that is. You can find his stuff on eBay, and the guy does really, really nice work. And he also did my H2O alien mask, the K&B mask. As you can see, it comes with this tag, and I have it on this stand, the same as my Halloween 2 and H2O masks. I'm not going to talk much about the movie because the movie is horrible. It's probably the almost universally accepted worst movie in the franchise, but it takes place a few years after the events of Halloween H2O, and the way that they explain that Michael Myers is still alive was that he switched clothes with a paramedic and crushed his larynx, so the man could not speak, and it was actually a paramedic that Laurie Strode decapitated at the end of H2O. And it doesn't make any fucking sense, because if you look at the guy, it's the same big goofy eyes that were in H2O. Everything, his mannerisms, everything about him is exactly the same. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And in the situation, he's pinned under the truck. She calls, first of all, let's even go back before that. He lunges at her with the fucking mask on in the truck. And this is supposed to not be Michael Myers, according to Resurrection, if you consider that canon. I don't, under any type of timeline. Anyway, so she hits the brakes, sends him through the window. He sits up like Michael Myers. She fucking hits him with the truck. They go flying down the edge of this cliff, and he's pinned underneath of this truck. She calls out to him, says, "Michael." He fucking looks up, and at no point in any of this does he take his fucking mask off. And she chops his fucking head off, and that's how they explain it. Apparently, this was already planned before they even shot Halloween Resurrection. This was the plan from the jump. And, I mean, you just talk about, like, what a cop-out and what a horrible story direction to take with this movie. You know, I don't think H2O is the greatest movie in the world, but I mean, the ending of that movie, that's a good way to end the series. That's a decent timeline. Halloween Resurrection, I think most fans would agree with me in saying that the events of that movie did not happen. But anyway, so what do they do with this movie? So, like I said, this movie takes place a few years after the events at Hillcrest Academy, and Laurie Strode is in a mental hospital, and Michael Myers tracks her down 3 years after the fact, and very unceremoniously and disrespectfully kills her in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the movie. And then they go to this fucking Dangertainment fucking reality TV bullshit after that. So when H2O came out, that came out right after the success of Scream, so they decided to make a movie that looked, felt, and sounded like Scream. To capitalize off of the success, they said, oh, this must be what the kids are into now. A couple years later, what are the kids into now? Well, the Blair Witch Project was a big surprise success, and also reality TV was a big thing. So they just went with that. They went with found footage and reality TV for this horrible movie with this horrible script. The fucking characters are awful. The story is awful. The kills are horrible. I don't think there's anything good I can say about this movie. Like, he completely gets fucking bitched out by Michael Myers. He gets fucking roundhouse kicked through a window. By Busta Rhymes. He gets fucking roundhouse kicked through a fucking window. Gets totally bitched out by Busta Rhymes in the scene. Busta Rhymes is poking him in the fucking forehead, telling him to turn around and go back to the truck, and all this bullshit. And he just fucking tucks his tail between his legs like a little bitch and does it. And, oh my God, you want to talk about a horrible character that just ruins every fucking scene he's in this fucking movie. Like, the Busta Rhymes character, Freddy, my God, he's horrible. You know, Michael Myers is a killer shark in baggy-ass overalls, and fucking all this other dumb shit this fucking guy says in this movie. What I'll say, he's watching kung fu movies before the end of the movie. He's like, look at motherfucker Chung Lee kicking a motherfucker ass with a cigarette in his mouth, and like all the dumb shit he says in this fucking movie. And then the end of the movie, he comes through and he gives that that horrible fucking line, trick or treat, motherfucker. And, you know, he starts kung fu fighting, and he beats up Michael Myers and kicks him through a fucking window. And then later on in the movie, he electrocutes him in the dick. And that's how Michael Myers is defeated in Halloween Resurrection. So yeah, pretty much universally recognized worst film in the series. So if you have not sat through this piece of shit, I do not recommend it. But it is a movie in the series, and it is connected to the directly to the 1978 original. It's not part of the Rob Zombie verse, which is pretty fucking horrible in its own right. So this is a mask that's in my collection now, and you know, it's a good mask. It's accurate to the movie. The sculpt, the actual sculpt for the movie was done by Cinema Secrets, but this Tots rehaul, the Tots mask with a proper rehaul, except maybe with the exception of Halloween 5, that mask looks fucking horrible, and the jawline's fucked up, but most of the other Tots masks can look pretty sick with a proper rehaul, and I really like the way the rehaul came out with this one. The mask itself, I think it's a decent sculpt. I think it's a good sculpt. What I will say about it, I do have a minor criticism of it. What I will say is that it has a angry expression about it, like a mad expression about it, and I think they kind of just missed the point of that. Like, this mask looks like a mask that was made to be Michael Myers' mask instead of a mask that he just happened to find somewhere, like in Halloween 1, and the mask he's obviously still wearing in Halloween 2, and even Halloween 4, which is a much inferior mask to the original 75 Shatner mask. You can actually make sense of that he just found that somewhere. This looks like a mask that was made for Michael Myers. So I go back and forth with it. I mean, I think it's a good mask. I think it's an above average mask for the series, especially when you consider some of the masks in the series. But it has this angry expression about it, and Michael Myers was supposed to have this blank, the Michael Myers mask, and Michael Myers himself was supposed to have this blank, expressionless face. And I think that they missed the point with that. So anyway, if you guys want to talk about Halloween Resurrection or The Mask, let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time.